Welcome to week 1 of our journey on the Red Sea Road. Over the next 8 weeks, we're going to read through, learn about, discuss, and experience for ourselves the Exodus journey that the Israelites took from slavery in Egypt to freedom in the Promised Land. The word Exodus means the road out. And Exodus is a passage, a road out from a situation or place or circumstance that we don't want to be in or that we shouldn't be in. It could be a situation that isn't healthy for us. It could be a place that's painful for us, or a circumstance that's just keeping us from living the way God intended for us. An Exodus journey starts in a place of dissatisfaction, disappointment, and discontentment. For the Israelites, that place was slavery in Egypt. They didn't mean to end up here. The Israelite people originally moved to Egypt because there was a famine, and Egypt was the only place with extra food. They thought this place would be a safe place, a better place for them to live, and it started out fine, but years later, they found themselves enslaved there. The Egyptians worked the people of Israel without mercy, and they made their lives bitter. The situation was bad, but the people just couldn't see a way out. They were stuck. They searched and prayed for an exodus, a road out of Egypt, but they couldn't find one. They didn't see any possible path out of slavery. There were no options. They were out of ideas, and eventually they ran out of hope that things would ever change, so they just accepted this current reality. This winter in Omaha, we had this huge snowstorm, and I remember opening the garage door and seeing that pile of snow standing up straight that created a little wall blocking my car into the garage. And despite all the snow, I was determined to get my kids to daycare so that I could go and get some work done. So I loaded everyone up and I headed out into the snow. Our daycare is just a few minutes from our house, but in order to get there, you have to drive uphill. So I tried the first street and not even close. I immediately slid back down the street. So I turned back down on our street and I headed to the second possible road up the hill. And this turn is on a roundabout and I couldn't get nearly enough speed to get up the hill. So I took an early turn and I headed to the third and final option to get up the hill. There's one other street that goes up this hill and right into our daycare's parking lot. I can literally see the daycare from the bottom of the hill. So I go up here, I pick up speed, and I go right into the turn, just praying that my car would make it up the hill. And of course, the tires started to spin, and I slid back down to the bottom again. And I tried again and again, and just kept sliding back down the hill. And eventually, after wiggling back and forth and trying different things, I got my car completely stuck right in the middle of this intersection in my neighborhood, still at the bottom of the hill. I remember being so frustrated and discouraged, and to make matters worse, all these other cars kept passing me and going right up the hill, turning in the daycare parking lot, dropping off their kids. Even these little tiny cars were making it up there. But I'm sitting at the bottom of the hill, all 3 kids are in the back, screaming, crying. I kind of wanted to join them at this point, but I said, I'm just gonna turn back down the street and get us home. But I couldn't even do that, I was completely stuck now. I could not even get back on that flat road that led back to our house. So I started going back and forth, trying to create a little path in the snow so I could get out, but it wasn't helping. My tires just kept spinning in place. I was completely stuck in this intersection. And there's nothing like that feeling of being completely stuck and out of options. There was no path out. I had run out of ideas. I couldn't think of any other options. There was no Exodus road through the snow to get us home. And sometimes in life we feel like that. We get stuck, like our tires are just spinning in place and we've tried everything, we just don't know what to do anymore. We're frustrated, disappointed, discouraged. Maybe you know your marriage is struggling, you aren't communicating well, you aren't happy, but you just don't know how to fix it. It seems like everything you try just makes it worse and you feel stuck. Maybe your kids are challenging and you're running out of patience and all the parenting hacks aren't helping and you feel stuck. Maybe you've been angry for a really long time and you're sick of carrying it around, but you just can't seem to get rid of that feeling. You're stuck with it. Maybe it's even a physical pain or a health problem and you've been to every doctor, tried every therapy, made every change, but that pain is still there. And you're stuck. Maybe it's a job or a life change or a big decision. You have this fork in the road of life and you don't know which way to go next, so you just stand there, stuck. Maybe it's your spiritual life, your relationship with God. It feels distant, you feel disconnected or just stagnant, and you want to revitalize your faith. You want to feel that strong connection again. You want to feel God's love again. You just can't seem to find it. We all get stuck sometimes. Before we can start our journey out on the Red Sea Road, we need to reflect on where we are today. If we want to map out a road to our personal version of the Promised Land, we have to know our starting point. We ask ourselves, where are we feeling stuck right now? You'll have some time in your groups and in the study guides to answer this question for yourself. And this is an important part of the journey. For the next 8 weeks, we're going to read through the book of Exodus and learn how we can experience an Exodus journey for ourselves and how we can move from this place of feeling stuck and go on a journey through the wilderness with God and eventually reach the Promised Land, a place where we feel free again. Your Red Sea Road study guide has this interactive map in the back. And each week we're going to take the next step on the map. We'll learn about ourselves, we'll learn about God, we'll learn from the Bible story, and we'll learn from each other. When the Israelites felt stuck, they turned to God. They cried out to God for help, and God heard their prayers. It says God remembered His promises to them. He saw them and He cared about them. It says God looked down on the people of Israel and He knew it was time to act. We all get stuck and we can get discouraged or frustrated. We might even be tempted to give up hope on things ever changing, ever getting better. We might think, I'll always be stuck here. It will always feel like this. I will always be like this. Or we can do what the Israelites did when they felt stuck. We can turn to God for help. We might not be able to see a way forward right now. We might not know the answer or the right next move. We might feel out of options and ideas, but God made a way when there was no way. He parted the waves and He created a Red Sea road for the Israelites to walk through, and He can do the same for us. Today is the beginning of our journey on that road, and I want to encourage you to think hard about your starting point on the map. What is one area of your life where you really feel stuck? Because we're going to return to this starting point every week. We're going to take what we learned from the scripture and the sermon and each other, and we are going to apply it to our journey and add it to our map. The rest of this map is going to be based on this original starting point. So take some time to discuss it with your house church or your family or your friend. Take some time to pray about what God might be doing in you right now, and then write that down on the starting point at the beginning of your map. And over the next 8 weeks, we will make our way through the Red Sea Road, through the wilderness, and towards the Promised Land together.